Okay, gonna record about Thursday, 6/8, 2017. So S&P 500, ETF to SPY, still a long-term uptrend. Recent trend action is just going sideways for about 5 days at the all-time high, just underneath. So kind of an obvious level around 24.35, 24.33. So right in there. It's going sideways. So this could be a nice setup for. This would be a setup for a trade coming into Friday if we break out to the all-time high, through the level on high volume, or this prior support resistance level becomes support. Those could be a couple triggers, like trade through there on high volume, or just holding above this level for an extended period of time. But big picture in the market's still up. Just a couple of thoughts about like psychology. Just like how I knew I was going to be predisposed to making some bad trades today because of home and the fact that I was right there about to press the button and I pussied out in home yesterday, Wednesday, and how that resulted, obviously, and the fact that home was an A+ setup. So then I started pressing it, and as you said, instead of looking for what was going wrong first, I was looking for what I want, seeing what I wanted to see, and I think it's very evident. And in the first stock I show you, I'm not too upset about. I am in both of them, really. Okay, so just irrelevant. So first stock I traded was Coach. Coach sells designer bags and shit, consumer cyclical sector. The big pictures are coming sideways, has some volume in the background, but we're not really trending. It kind of gapped up and then, could be a breakaway gap. But haven't really had any swings, haven't really had anything, just kind of gapped and just kind of going sideways. So my setup was that we were just going sideways, overlapping for several days here right under the all-time high. And then intraday, so my trigger would have been breaking out of that level, and I wanted to, be long above, this 46.83 on one of my entries. So when I got intraday was, we tested this all-time high, and right off the bat we test it, and immediately we reject down. So it's just me not being fluid. I typed this in my notes as I had already had made up my mind about what was going to happen in the stock before. So I'm backsliding, regressing, and back into predicting instead of just watching and just seeing what I wanted to see. So obviously we tested the prior all-time high and fucking rejected just immediately. So but all I'm looking for is just to get above there. And so the minute we get above there and then come back down, and I was trying to buy in here actually for 2 minutes. There was execution problems, so I kind of get a bad feel. I was trying to limit into 46.90. So anyway, I get filled at 46.97, and I put my stop at 46.67, risk 300 shares, and I got stopped out by about 3 cents, which was very frustrating since immediately turned back around. And so what I did was I chased again, and this little kind of sideways back above the intraday high, I went long there with my stop below VWAP, and obviously I got chopped up in this because all this in the background is showing us that there's weakness when we're testing this level. The volume's really not solid. The daily setup's not really solid either, so not a good trade here at all. Go to VRX. VRX is a healthcare penny stock. Well, it's a real company, but it's kind of coming into penny levels. What we've had recently is kind of volume blast. The big picture is still down. I would argue it's still down in VRX. So I'm trying to go long, a short, a predominant downtrend. We do have some volume and kind of pull back to the midline, but is this an A+ trade? And the question, the answer is no. So my setup is that we were going sideways at the midline. That's fine. This is a fantastic setup if we're testing the all-time high and then pulling back, and we've made higher highs and higher lows, on the daily chart. But this is the wrong place to be doing that. So I got stopped out in Coach, so I came running, just looking for whatever I could find. Was trying to get long somewhere in here and ended up getting filled, right around 20 because the spreads are pretty long, pretty wide in VRX. And so I ended up selling for just like a small, I saw a couple favorite tests here and just got out for just like a small loss. And then went back and took my second entry in coach. So, I typed all my notes about why these are so bad, and they were just piss poor trading, dude. And it's like no wonder I had a really shitty day. And not trading A plus. The three things I said I would do yesterday: wait on A plus setups, not chase, and fucking what's the fucking first thing? Anyway, so but the main things were, not fucking chasing. Like that was number one. Oh, pulling the trigger on qualified setups. I had no qualified setup today. So anyway, just creating stuff out of nothing. You brought up Swerve. So I see the setup, the daily chart. We not really trending. You're telling them sideways here, but I see this kind of like level. Maybe you pointed out. And the main thing, the big setup and tech, tech sector is kind of a hot sector. I mean, we are making higher highs, higher lows, I guess. But this 4-day overlap, this compression with the kind of the volume in the background, right underneath this level. So I kind of saw where you're going with that. And so that would be the setup. Trigger would be breaking out of this consolidation either way. And then here's one of my entries, consolidation. We're above the opening range, my opening range high at that point. Could have bought in there, kind of a little wedge, compression in there, bought in there, flag there. Sideways, could have bought in here. Sideways bought there. So, good stocks have good entries. They're good trades. Shaq, I wasn't seeing Shaq. I mean, I see like what you're talking about, this overlap here. But on the daily chart, maybe that you were seeing this level, kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. You talk about the levels that stocks have like big moves from. And kind of hit here, so maybe that was what you were hitting at. Was that was an obvious level, and then we're kind of just consolidating beneath it. So the setup is consolidation beneath an obvious level. The trigger being above 38.28. So we trade through it, and then after 9:45, we gotta get a little sideways here. That's where I would have gone long. Stop below VWAP, so risk 45 cents. Or 25 cents. I could only buy 300 shares, so I couldn't buy a full size on that, but would have been a winning trade. The one that stuck out to me that I'm quite upset about missing, that was on my radar, it's on my focus watch list, was W. So W is in an uptrend, coming off a long sideways base, breakaway gap. It was going sideways, and then it had a couple days overlap. So all we're thinking is a little compression leads to a breakout, and so there's a couple sideways days, and then we get to the all-time high above 70.36. And this is the only fucking stock that I did not set an alert in, and like this lack of hard work doesn't help you become a good trader. So I had all this time in the world to be alerted here to see, bam, okay, shit, it's holding right up against the level, cool. Or even better, later we have this move up and then kind of go sideways here, enter right in there, stop below VWAP. 150 shares or something, and then make a couple $100 on the day. That would have been nice, but I didn't prepare well. Even though it's on my watch list, I didn't have a fucking alert set here, and then I had already hit my max stop. Pretty close. Where is that? I mean, yeah. So basically at the same time I was taking this co-trade. If I would have just not chased. I could have potentially been in here, but anyway, Nvidia was another one. So we got tech sector, obvious uptrend. A couple days compression. We did gap up to all-time highs, so that put me on alert. But we didn't gap up, go up, so the trigger's just trading above the all-time high and holding sideways. So excuse me, let me roll it back to tape. So we gap up, but we test down, just kind of go sideways, and then we get above the opening range high, which I marked here. So kind of make higher highs, higher lows into the level. We get above the level, prior resistance, we touch it here, become support. Here's another flag, here's another flag. And then we're in an obvious uptrend, so buy flag and fucking hold it. Buy a dip. Like it's got to be real hard. Buy 100 shares and make $400. So, um, obviously there were trades out there to be taken yesterday. I was trying to force stuff simply because I think I was butthurt at myself for missing home on Wednesday, so I was trying to create something out of nothing. So the focus today obviously is the girlfriend theory. I need to obviously say what is wrong with this shit first, and then if I can't figure out what's wrong with it, then I'll start to think about the trade. Have to have a real daily chart set up. Have to have a real trigger and entry. Got to use a real, got to check my void list and follow my rules. I think I've been doing at least a good job of following my intraday rules of the opening range and, outside the past 3 days high. And, everything has been a Cove trade. So I've at least been following that. It's like some positive out of it. But, I'm just kind of ashamed, to be fair. But, you learn. You got to learn through your losing days, and this is going to continue to happen if I continue to trade shitty stocks. So anyway, dude, later.